Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's Jaime Greene, the Solar Queen, and I am live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And so if you are at some point in time watching this live, say hello and let me know where you are watching from. So today I wanted to talk about the PG&E email that all of the Northern Californians probably received, and it's that they announced that their rates, PG&E rates, are going to go up. And so my husband is the PG&E account holder for our household, and he sent me an email, forwarded me the email from PG&E letting us know that our rates are going to go up. The good news for us is it doesn't really apply because we have solar and a backup battery. And we did have to use the backup battery the other day. And I'm going to tell that story towards the end of this live stream. So make sure to stick around and hear the story. So it's very educational for people who have EVs and are charging them at home. So yeah, anyhow, if you are watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to the channel, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. All those good things for the YouTube algorithm. If you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn and want to share this out to your audience, please do so, because this is some stuff that is going to impact everyone. Everybody who has a PG&E account. SCE is doing it, that's Southern California Edison, as well as SDGE. I commented on my last live stream that SDGE is already up to 82 cents a kilowatt hour. And one of the viewers wanted to know, show me proof. And so I went to their website, looked up their utility rates, and sure enough, it's 82 cents a kilowatt hour for peak time of use when you go over your baseline, and they determine what your baseline is. For PG&E, where I'm seeing the rates for peak time of day is 58 cents a kilowatt hour. I don't know about you, but it's a big amount of money for energy, especially when we are using more and more energy every single day. I mean, I think it's every day, every year that I'm seeing rates climb and climb and climb, but people's usage is inching up, and there's reasons for that. So I want to share with you guys the email that my husband sent me so that you can see what I'm talking about. So here it is, and you'll have to enjoy this Google background. I think I've had it since college, and I haven't changed it. So this was sent out to everybody on September 19th, and it's an important update about your energy bills. This winter, so it's like the fourth day of fall. I woke up to rain. There was rain that had fallen in our neighborhood, and it was kind of nice, a little bit refreshing. I wasn't expecting it, but it just means that fall has begun and winter is coming, as you know, like on Games of Thrones. Winter is coming. What are we doing to prepare for it? I'm going to give you some tips and tricks to just based on the conversations I've had with lots of homeowners about their energy bills and little patterns that I see. So it says this winter you will see higher rates for gas and electric service. We're communicating with you now so you can understand why and prepare for higher bills. The state regulatory process for determining rates is still ongoing and dependent on approval from our regulator. We do not know the amount of the rate increase, and we will communicate with you again when more detailed information becomes available. So why are the bills increasing? They're increasing to underground the power lines. This is a big paragraph to read, but basically they're proposing to underground 2,100 miles of power lines in the highest wildfire risk areas for about $3.40 additional per month for each customer from 2023 to 2026. So for those who don't know, usually the utility companies will go out to the CPUC, the California Public Utility Commissioners, and they will ask, they'll get 3 years worth of rate increases approved at one time. So it's a steady increase, though. It's been, if they're at 58 cents a kilowatt hour, and just 4.5 years ago when we went solar, it was 18 cents a kilowatt hour. That is 20 cents. No, sorry. That is 40 cents higher. Is that right? 40 cents higher. So that's like is that almost 200% increase? Is that right? I think that's right. So sometimes I'll model it out for homeowners, what it would look like if they stayed with the utility company and rates increased. The national average is 4%. So the national average of rate increases is 4%, and it compounds over time and it continues to go up. So that is probably, an accurate, 200%. A lot for energy, especially when our habits haven't changed dramatically. Some of the things that may be changing in your lives, which would mean a higher energy bill. And this came from a conversation we were looking at the solar proposal and the storage and what the home, where the roof is located to the sun and where we can put panels, and driving EV and charging it. Things will change. Your habits will change when you get solar under NEM 3.0, just given the nature of how the utility companies are going to bill you. So for energy that's consumed when the sun goes down, if you don't have enough storage or if you don't have any storage at all. So this example was basically that the homeowner was driving, and charging his car at nighttime, so you could see the huge spikes at nighttime. And it would take about 40 kilowatt hours to charge his car. And that, I would say, is probably average. Mine sometimes will take 50 kilowatt hours, 54 kilowatt hours, depending on how low I let the battery get. And the other day it got pretty low. And that's a story I'm going to tell you in just a second. But what's happening, though, is so what we needed to determine was how much of a true up bill would he actually be anticipating during the months when the sun production drops off dramatically. And given the nature of his roof and the relationship to the sun and sun production, his roof wasn't super favorable for wintertime production, which means he's going to have a true up bill for likely the months of October, November, December, January, February, and parts of March. So but at the same time, it was still less than what he would otherwise pay to the utility company, and less than what he would pay for fuel for a gas-powered vehicle. So there's some justifications. You kind of got to shift it around and look at things differently when it comes to energy when you get solar now in NEM 3.0. But going back to the story of, I will model it out for my homeowners, what the rates would look like if they did nothing with it, if nothing changed, meaning their energy consumption didn't increase or decrease, but the only variable was the rate increase. And so it's kind of crazy to think that rates could ever get past $1 a kilowatt hour, but San Diego is already at 82 cents a kilowatt hour. And if they have gone to the CPUC, which they do, and they will, in January is when the CPUC is going to vote on this. So let me go back and share with you the utility bill. Or the utilities email announcement, the so kind and gracious email, undergrounding of power lines, wildfire risk reduction. We had several days of not cloud cover, but smoke cover, where the air quality got really bad and was canceling outdoor sports and things like that, because we have to protect our lungs. I have asthma and I wheeze when it's just not good. So we have to protect our lungs, because without oxygen, we will die, and we don't want that. So wildfire risk reduction, they need to do that. They need to do that, which they're going to charge you for that. So we've got the wildfire risk reduction going on, grid capacity and resilience. Believe it or not, some of you may be enrolled in something like a third-party clean energy agency. So this would be something like East Bay Clean Energy Community, East Bay Community Marine Sustainability, not Marine Sustainability, Marine Clean Energy, Santa Barbara Clean Energy, like there's all these clean energy agencies, and you're getting clean energy already from other, community solar and wind farms. And I'm about to cough, so hold on just a second. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, so the grid capacity and resilience, they're working on improving their electric system, their grid, to support more electric vehicles, battery storage, and all of those things so that it's reliable during extreme weather, whether it be a windstorm, whether it be, something being caused by the wildfires. It's usually the windstorm. And we were in Maui during the hurricane that happened almost a month ago. Sorry, Eddie, I didn't even see this. Eddie Alonso, thanks so much for watching. How are you? Says Cali rates are nuts. It seems that California tends to contradict itself. It totally does. Because see, here's what's happening. Thanks for that comment and thanks for watching on LinkedIn. Here's how the process works, okay? Here's the summary. Okay, so here's the benefit of why they're going to raise the rates. These actions will make our customers safer for generations to come. We understand rate increases impact our customers, and we are committed to completing this critical safety work as strategically and cost effectively as possible. So how does this work? The rates are determined so you can understand where we are in the process. Here's a summary. We will communicate again after California Public Utility Commission issues a final decision, and we know how and when your bill will be impacted. So PG&E has already submitted the application to do this. I don't know when it happened, but it happened in the past. There were public hearings and comments, as there always are. I've been to some of these for when we were fighting against NEM 2.0 ending and NEM 3.0 coming to pass. The proposal may be modified. They've already done this. Then the proposal decision is issued by administrative law judges. That's already been done. And they're saying we are here. I have to say, though, I did not receive any emails. My husband did not receive any emails that they were submitting an application for rate increases. We didn't receive an email saying, we invite you, public, to come and tell us what you think about us raising your rates because we want to make the grid more safe by undergrounding power lines. And we want to, you already have been charged for wildfire risk reduction. You've been charged for all these things. Hello, Sunshine City Solar Light. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Yeah, so we've already they've been doing this for a while, but what they have failed, or at least we didn't, I don't remember getting any notifications, is that they were telling us that they were doing this so that we could actually say something and stand up and say, this is ridiculous. You've already been raising our rates like crazy. You've made it so, I don't want to say unfriendly to go solar, but they have definitely made it so that people have to get batteries, which are not a bad thing, but people always want to know when am I going to see an ROI on my solar and my bill. Yesterday when I was working, I was working on a proposal with a homeowner that found me on YouTube actually, and we had a solar consultation. His ROI, his payback was 7 years, even with his true up bill, because he was still going to have a true up bill. So if you meet with people who come and knock on your doors, or you fill out an online form and you have a consultation with them, and they do not ask you for your interval data and analyze your interval data, or if they don't tell you that you will for sure likely have a true up bill during the wintertime months, unless they oversize the system enough to wipe that out, which means you're going to overproduce like crazy in the summer, then you want to consider working with somebody else because your solar system will be underserved. I've seen solar proposals and quotes out there where they were getting proposed 3 kilowatt batteries and they use like 50 kilowatt hours a day. You need to educate yourself, which is why I do these videos and live streams and share them so that you are educated and you know what you need so that you can wipe out as much of your energy bill as possible. So Sunshine Solar City says you're welcome. And exactly. So I think you're in solar. I feel like you're maybe in tell me where you're at because I think I know, but I don't want to mistaken you for somebody else. um, but that being said, the only way you are going to stop the ability for the utility company to gouge you um, with your electricity is by going solar and getting storage. And sometimes you might need multiple batteries. It all depends on your habit. So let me share with you guys. That's right, Jamaica. I knew it was Jamaica. I was going to say, I think you're in Jamaica. I hope you're safe down there. I think there was a tropical storm coming, but hopefully it didn't. I think it went somewhere else. It seems like more and more storms are coming, more and more tropical storms, hurricanes, typhoons, just crazy weather right now. And whether or not you believe in not you Sunshine City Solar Light, if you believe in global warming, if you believe in climate change, then solar is a wonderful way for you to help fight against that because you're reducing the amount of your carbon footprint. You got heavy rain. Yeah, heavy rain. Even rain is very dangerous, because of flooding and everything. So I'm glad you're safe. And thank you again for watching. And thank you for helping other people go solar, hopefully in Jamaica and maybe other surrounding Caribbean countries. So one of the things that you can do, really the only thing that you can do is go solar, get a battery. You have to get batteries now. Otherwise, you're left with having a massive true-up bill for whenever the sun goes down. Yes, to carbon footprint. Yeah, I mean, my kids are so like I drive an EV. We have solar. We have a battery. It comes in handy when the power goes out. And my everything's being run by solar. In fact, it's kind of cloudy, but there's still UV lights coming or UV coming through. And if I look at my app, I can tell you how much power my solar system right now is generating. So let me see. 1.6 kilowatts of energy in my house right now with this light, this computer and microphone. And I think the hallway light is on over there is using only not even a half a kilowatt of power. So when your solar system and battery fails, I don't want to say fails, is not there for you when you need the energy, meaning the sun has gone down, it's super, super smoky, or it's cloudy, and so your production's dropped off, and you've used all of your storage in your battery, then the grid is going to be there for you. And use solar lighting and solar fans to reduce the pressure off the solar system. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I would say that most of the people in America use like those really cute solar outdoor lights for outside. We got some patio furniture this last, I guess, in the springtime, and the umbrella itself has a little solar thing on top of the umbrella. So when you open it up, you can turn on the lights, and underneath it are lights that have been powered by the sun. It's kind of cool. So going back to this, though, and the utility bills and how Solar Under NEM 3.0 works for the state of California. So for everyone outside of California watching this, do not be mistaken that your rates aren't going up, because they are. They're going up, especially in the Northeast. And I know Florida is going to be going through some rate increases too. and Christmas lights too. Yeah. There's some I bought some at Costco. I bought some outdoor lighting for the outdoor so I don't have to plug in like those really cool string lights. So but we haven't put them up yet. We should probably do that. But we're at the end of the summer, so we're probably not going to do that. Anyways, we'll do it next year. The solar lights do work. Solar powered. I mean, if you go on the side of the freeway, uh, there are solar powered signs and things like that. So totally works. But going back to ways to, I guess, counteract or not let things affect you, regardless of where you live in the United States of America, is to get solar because EVs are here. There are more and more EVs on the road. There's more and more demand to charge these EVs, and our grid is aging, and it's just. So let me tell you the story. I'm going to tell you the story. I think I've told a story like this before in the past, but I'm going to tell the story because I failed to educate my family on the capacity or the limitations, and I know that this is happening for people, and they don't know why. And let me tell you why. How do you like that for a sentence? Okay, so Sunday night, my car got down to, I think, like 29%. And I've gotten better about the whole range anxiety thing. I know that if I can't charge it fast enough with my solar at home, which a full charge takes about 5 hours of, charging. It's just the nature of it. If you have a level 1 charger, you're going to charge all around the clock and it's going to drip out of your the power cord, and it's going to take 24 hours basically to charge like your ability to drive 50 miles. So level 2 charging is just a faster charge, bigger amperage coming from your home to be able to charge your car. So 5 hours from like say 15% of battery all the way up to 80%. It takes 5 hours to charge. And that's about, I would say, 275 miles. Is that right? Yeah, about 275 miles of charging and the ability to, have no more range anxiety or battery range anxiety. So I was charging the car I was like, I got home and I forgot to charge it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to charge it for a few hours just to get me, more charge. My husband was home. He was working out. He was running the electric dryer. All the lights in the house seemed to be on. We were just terrible at using our energy on Sunday night. Then my son decided to pop in this little bowl of, it's like ramen, but it's pho noodles, and they're really good, and it's from Costco. We shop at Costco a lot because I feel like everything's gotten so expensive, so we shop at Costco all the time. But he started because all the lights are on, the TVs were on. My husband was out in the garage working out. The car was charging. He was running. He was drying his clothing, and my son turned on the microwave. And all of a sudden, there was a little split second of a glitch, kind of like in the lights kind of flickered, the TV flickered, things flickered, and the first thing I did, I got a notification on my app that my power wall kicked in. And I knew why. I was like, dang it. So I stopped the charging for my car. I went out to my husband, out to the garage, and I saw that I go, you're running the dryer. And so then I had to educate him. You cannot, for us, we have a smaller amperage main panel, service panel. So we have a 100 amp service panel. Our backup gateway serves 200 amps. But when we overload the panel, the main home panel, we will trip the main breaker. As it should. That's what it's there for. So that being said, going back to this grid, going back to this email from Grid Capacity and Resilience. One of the things with going solar and getting a battery is you gain resilience, but you still can push the limits on, even if you have a 200 amp service panel, if you turn everything on and you're running air conditioning, stove, a blow dryer, a microwave, like not that would ever happen, very rarely would happen, and charging your car and running your dryer, you could make the main break. So just like our grid, we're gonna break. They're gonna break the. We're gonna break the grid if they don't do something. So that is the best way I can connect those stories. People getting EVs that don't have solar, and you have to think you're going to have to start planning out when you are going to charge the car, and you can't charge the car and run the AC at the same time because once you turn something else on and you have a 100 amp service panel, which a lot of homes still have those. You're going to have, when you go solar, you're like, we should have upgraded our main service panel, but we didn't. We avoided that with getting the Tesla Powerwall because we're underground fed, which means we would have had to trench. We would have had to. At the end of the day, in hindsight, we probably should have. And if you're going to ever get an EV and ever get solar and ever get storage, and you have a 100 amp service panel and it's underground, it's not going to be an automatic upgrade. And it may be a relocation away from the gas meter. And there's going to be a price tag attached to that. But one of the things that's important to understand is this is a home upgrade for your home to make it safer when it comes to the electricity flowing through your home and the demand that you're going to put on your home. Because EVs, you go out and get I think it's called a NEMA 50 amp level 2 charger. It is likely going to, it's the same amperage as an air conditioning unit, or, getting an air conditioner installed or anything like that. Your stove, your oven, your dryer, all those things are big loads. And so it's likely, and then you have solar and storage, and it does require a back feed that's available in your main service panel to be able to run that equipment, the solar equipment, safely. So there's a lot of electrical components that comes to going solar, but that's not to scare you away from doing it. But just know, if you have an older home and the main panel hasn't been upgraded, that might be something that might have to happen. Just like PG&E is saying, and the crazy thing is the utility company is the one that's going to authorize you to be able to do that, not you, your electrician, or the solar company installer that's doing the upgrade. So they should be thanking you, because for you upgrading it, because this is part of the grid resiliency and improvements. Is when we do this, upgrade these things to our homes, we're just making our home and the grid and everything safer. Yeah, so because you don't want to overload a main breaker. You don't want to cause a fire. You don't want to do that. We had somebody's house caught fire a couple years ago across the street. It wasn't an electrical fire, but it was because he didn't put a cigarette butt out all the way. So going back to the way that you can gain energy resiliency even more is if you have to upgrade your solar or your service panel to go solar and get the battery, that is all going to be included in that federal tax credit that you may or may not be eligible for. If you're not, and that is based totally on tax liability. So if you do not have tax liability, it's a great solution. If you don't have cash to pay for the system, or maybe you forego the tax credit to take out the loan to purchase it, outright, that's fine. You can do that. But there is a 30% federal tax credit for people who go solar and get, do electrical upgrades are included in that. Storage is included in that. There is an area in the tax code that says roofing is not included, which blows my mind, because my neighbors across the street got solar on the roof that exists they can't get solar until they replace the roof. So that being said, the only thing about roofs that are technically in the tax code is if you get like solar shingles, like that, like the Tesla solar shingles. A couple of people in our neighborhood have them. I'm not a big fan of them. I think the technology is really cool, but I think it's very expensive, and I don't like the look of it. I actually prefer the look of solar panels. I mean, maybe I'm biased, but that being said, the tax credit. Oh, look at Sunshine City says that Jamaica just started a tax credit. That's great. So it is helping people. It will help bring down the overall cost of energy for the solar system when people qualify for the tax credit. And so it has everything to do with your federal tax liability. Some states have state tax credits, like New York. Um, Illinois has SRECs, just like, and parts of New York have SRECs. I think parts of New Jersey has SRECs. These are good incentives to help people get solar, become more energy resilient, save on their energy costs. Because when you go solar, as soon as your solar system comes on, I have a friend here in Nevada. She got her solar installed before the net metering rules changed. Her final inspection passed. So now a couple of people have gotten final inspections passed in the last couple of weeks, which is great. So the next step for them is to get interconnection. So the solar installer is going to take the signed job card and submit it with the interconnection application to the utility company, and then the utility company grants them permission to operate or to turn on their solar system. And from then on out, they have now redirected where their money goes in terms of their energy. They've invested in their home. They've upgraded their home. Like this, my friend, she had to get her panel upgraded, so that happened. She's going to be eligible for the tax credit, and then she's going to, instead of paying PG&E, she's going to pay down her loan. She took out a loan, and she's going to pay it off. And so her energy costs have dramatically decreased and stayed fixed now. The only way she'll have to pay the utility company for gas. She'll have to pay the utility company for a monthly connection fee, which is about $10. NEM 3 is $15 for PG&E. And then if she uses way more energy than her system is designed to produce for her, then she'll pay a true up to the utility company. The goal with NEM 2.0 was not to have that, but it does happen. So she is on her way to, firstly, energy independence, and hedging herself from these rate increases. This rate increase. Look at your important update about your energy bills. I mean, even the title of the subject, your energy bill is going up. Understand why and what the next steps are. She is going to be protecting herself from those rate increases. So I just think solar, if you're willing to go through the construction process, if you're willing to wait it out for the length of time that it takes between, from the time that we sit down for the solar consultation to the time that you get PTO, it could be 6 months. It could be 9 months. For some, it's been over a year. And there are very different reasons why that can happen. But it does happen occasionally where projects take over a year to complete. I know it sounds crazy, but it does happen. But I promise you'll get across the finish line, and your solar system will be producing energy for you. So, but this is how you protect yourself from those rate increases. Do I think PG&E is going to hit 80 cents at some point? Yes, I do. And I think it's going to be here quickly. And I think that the way that they do it is they don't really let people know that they're going to be doing this, because as you saw in the email, they're already at the stage. They're already here. They're already at the approval process, which they're anticipating making that decision in January. And please, please don't believe, or I don't want to tell you what to think, but they passed NEM 3.0. They being the CPUC, they passed NEM 3.0 without, yes, they heard hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, if not days, of public comment about do not do this. And they still did it. So rate increases are coming. Now, here are some tips for the wintertime. If it gets cold, it's going to get cold. It might be more cost effective for you to run your central gas furnace than to run space heaters. So some things that I noticed in a lot of you people's bills, a lot of you guys' bills, a lot of them, if not all of them. Those cute little space heaters, I've talked about this so many times, and if some of you have heard, and some of you said, I listened, I saw, and I'm not going to use them anymore. those cute little space heaters that are like this big and you plug them in and like I could plug one in right now and keep my feet warm. Those are energy hogs and they're going to make your utility bill spike. Like I saw a homeowner, their usage was pretty like common except for the wintertime. These 2 months, they just spiked up. So the wife was using it, during the daytime, and then the husband and the kids were using it at nighttime, and or parents don't want their children being cold, and so they'll leave them on in their kids' bedrooms overnight to keep their bedroom warm while they sleep. Um, so I would discourage you from doing that if your energy bill is getting unbearable in cost. Avoid doing that as we enter into the wintertime months and the cold weather. I would encourage you to just use your gas furnace if you have it, um, and just see because I'm not kidding. $300 more per month just to run these space heaters that I saw for some people. So try and avoid that if you can. Use your gas furnace or just bundle up. There's nothing wrong with bundling up a little bit more. um, just so that you're not getting gouged by PG&E for using all that energy. Yeah. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that your energy bill going up bothers you enough to schedule a time to meet with me. And you can go to my website at jamiegreenthesolarqueen.com and fill out a form and book yourself a time on my calendar to look at solar. The tax credit, even though we're coming down to the last few months of the year, which is crazy. Like my kids are like, Mom, it's 36 days until Halloween. I'm like, gosh. I just feel like we just started the year, but we're coming down to the end of the year. You technically need to have your solar installed by the end of 2023 to be able to take the tax credit for 2023 when you file next year. Let's see. Wow, I won't be able to catch this live. We'll check it out later. Thanks, Opan. It's very helpful information, especially if you live in PG&E territory. And if you can go solar, that's the whole point of this live stream of how to hedge yourself from future rate increases. But that being said, going back to the end of the year and how the tax credit technically works. Technically, and I am not a CPA or tax advisor or anything like this, but I help a lot of people understand how it works and always encourage you to go to your CPA or tax preparer. But technically, the solar system needs to be interconnected, meaning installed past final inspection and granted permission to operate by the utility company to file for the tax credit, which is tax 95. If you want to look it up, you can read the tax code yourself as well. But technically, it needs to be installed, inspected, and turned on by the utility company by the end of this year, December 31st. I do know that a lot of people will just sign the contract and have um, forward progress on the system and still file for the tax credit and get it. So it's totally up to you and what you and your tax preparer are comfortable doing. But if you want to take advantage of the tax credit by the end of the year, then you might want to schedule your solar appointment with me. And if it's not this year, then at least you get it turned on before the summer months next year because rates go up. Rates are going to go up. We're going to switch to wintertime rates very soon, in a couple of months here, but then the winter rates go away and then the summer rates come and your summer bills are going to be more expensive than they were this year. And let me tell you, this is the first time that I've seen average homes hit $300 and $400 a month just for electricity. So, and a lot of them are $500. And when you do the math, $500, I should know this math. But let's do 400 because that's a little bit more palatable. And 400, that's almost $5,000 a year for energy that you're never going to get back. So I think it's a good idea to look at solar for your home and reroute that money and invest it into your home. Oh, this is the last thing I was going to say. If you live in the two things, if you live in the state of New York and you live in New York City, I believe, and upstate, oh, I have to go back and look. There are some incentives that are going to be ending at the end of the year. So act quickly if you live in New York. The last thing I was going to say is, interest rates have gone up. The feds are doing what they can to keep the economy from collapsing. I think we're facing a government shutdown because the government's running out of money. Oh man, that drives me nuts. But interest rates are not going to be coming down anytime soon, which means the cost to borrow money if you take out a solar loan is more expensive than it was a year ago. Like literally a year ago. I'll never forget. I was talking with some homeowners and they weren't quite ready to pull the trigger. And then they come back and say, okay, I'm ready for an update. Like, is that quote still good? And I would say, no, it's not. I'm so sorry, but the rates went up like literally a week ago. And they're like, dang it. And the cost to borrow money just went up so much. So one of the solutions that is it financially may be better for you. And this also means forgoing the federal tax credit is to get a lease or a PPA. Because what this in there are different kinds. There are prepaid PPAs, which is if you wanted to pay cash, but you wanted to have the ability to have the solar system maintained and cared for and the battery replaced. If the battery goes out for 25 years, you can do a prepaid lease. If you, for some leases, and it just depends on the leasing company. I work with a couple of them. Some of you can get 0% escalator, which means it's a fixed rate, which is great because then you're not having an escalator kind of like the utility. But the key there is that the escalator for the PPA is likely going to be below what the rate escalator is with the utility company. So you're starting out ahead of you're saving money on your monthly energy costs and you're staying below the utility rate escalator. So that's the good thing with that. Usually those are like either 2 or 3% rate escalators, or you can get in some states, you can get a 0% rate escalator. In California, you can. But that just means you're going to start out with a higher solar payment and it's going to stay level for 25 years. Here's the other benefit of the solar lease. It's still going to be your utility company. And it will, after 5 years of having it, if you love it and it's going great and you want to own it, you can purchase it. You can buy it. It'll be appraised by a third-party appraiser and you can buy it for the market value at the time. And that's because the leasing companies have taken the tax credit and depreciated the cost of your system. But you'll still reap the benefits of the solar system, even if you do decide you want to purchase it. So you have an option at the 5-year mark, and then you have an option at the 25-year mark, which is buy the system then, have the system removed, and start over. So the lease and PPA option is going to be much more affordable in some instances over taking out a loan and having it affect your DTI. So the only catch there is that you will forgo the federal tax credit. So that's the only thing I want to say about that. And I've said enough about PG&E announcing that your energy bill is going to go up and why it's going to go up. I can promise you across the country, your rates are going to go up. And the only way to stop this is by going solar or cutting back your lifestyle. But even then, who wants to do that? Like, who wants to live in a hotter house just because you need to save money on your energy? Although I will say this, if you are doing that, okay, so if you're using the space heaters and you're okay with that, then keep doing that because then that's going to reflect what you need for solar if you decide to go solar. And the other thing is don't hold back on how much you run your air conditioning if you want that reflected in your solar system, because your solar systems get sized based on how much energy you consume. Sunshine City says 100% exactly. Don't hold back. Live comfortably. And I'm also one of those solar people that I'm perfectly okay if you need to do this for a year. Like, figure it out so that your system is sized properly. Because in some utilities, you can't go beyond 100% offset. Some you can't go beyond 110. Some make you only go to 90% offset. And in NEM 3.0, you can only go to 150% offset. And so that means only 50% more than your historic usage. So make sure that you live as you want to live when it comes to solar, so that your system is sized properly, so that you get the right amount of storage. Make sure when you go into when you go online and you look at your energy usage and you're going to set up an appointment with me at JamieGreenTheSolarQueen.com, that you go in and download your most recent utility bill, the last 12 months of usage, as well as the interval data, because that's going to tell us how much energy you're using when the sun is down, when the sun is gone, like, sun is set until the sun rises again the next day. And that means we need to make sure that you have enough storage there. Um, for you to power your life and be energy independent and resilient. So that is it. Have a wonderful Tuesday, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. And go to my website if you want to set up an appointment with me. We always have really fun conversations, and I always love helping people go solar, save on their energy costs, and you know, kind of close the gap on that relationship with the utility company. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.